Lisa,
Yes, baby girl.
when I grow up, I want to be a womenace to society.
Then so shall you be. Hey, this is Lisa Landry. Welcome back to WOMENACE Society. I'm so stoked to talk to today's guest. She is Johanna Schneider, and she's with Tiburon Holistic Health Initiative. Welcome to the podcast, Johanna.
Thank you. Glad to be with you.
You're not just over at Tiburon Holistic, though. You're a principal, right?
I am.
Where do you principal?
I'm a principal in a school for special needs students in East New York, Brooklyn.
How many students do you have?
We have approximately 320 students.
And how old are these kids?
We go from kindergarten through 8th grade, so 5 through 14, and they're all classified as special needs.
What are their needs?
Well, some of the needs, some of our students are intellectually disabled, some are on the autistic spectrum, and some are classified as having emotional issues.
What is emotionally disabled? What does that mean? Because I've never heard of that before.
Well, it could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Some of our students are classified with specific mental health issues, such as schizophrenia or mood disorder. And some students, unfortunately, their behaviors reflect the traumas that they've experienced in their lives.
So you have a lot of survivors.
Absolutely, they are survivors, and these kids really are.
What is it like to try to teach somebody with schizophrenia?
Well, it could be extremely challenging. You could be dealing with somebody who wants to learn and is productive and very much on target one day, and the next day or next week, you could have someone who is unproductive, wants to sleep, may act out in terms of being verbally inappropriate or sometimes being somewhat violent.
So you're basically teaching comedians.
Sometimes it seems that way.
I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to make light. I can only imagine how difficult that could be, having a classroom of kids with special needs. Because kids without diagnosed special needs can be quite a pain in the booty, trying to get them all just quiet and focused enough that you can instill some knowledge.
Our purpose is not only teaching academics, but teaching appropriate social skills so that our students could be positive members of their home, school, and neighborhood communities.
How are they classified? How are they grouped? Like, for instance, do you have all schizophrenic students ages first grade through third grade together? Or is it classrooms classified by ages and grades?
Well, according to the state education department, in special education, students could be grouped within 3 years of their grade level. So we might have classes with third, fourth, and fifth graders, but we try very hard to put grade by grade accordingly in separate classrooms, because we really feel that kids who are grouped together by age really do better together.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, it would make sense, right? Because they want to be with their peers. They don't want to be held back with younger kids. I would reckon that would be hurtful.
And that's another trauma.
Right.
So we really try to avoid that.
How long have you been there, Johanna?
I've been at my school since 1986.
Oh my gosh.
I've been in that same school. I started as a teacher, and I had many other roles, made myself work up the ladder to assistant principal, and then for the past 17 years, I've been the principal.
You've been there forever.
It feels that way sometimes.
What's the top coolest thing that the school board or the educational system has implemented at your school over those years that you've been there? Like, what's your big victory?
I have to say it's been a school victory.
Okay.
And I think one of those victories is we decided to empower students to feel good about themselves and teach them appropriate behaviors in a very loving, kind, and accepting environment. And one of the ways we've done that is to help kids reduce their stress, their anxiety, and the feelings of negativity they have about themselves, and we've done that through mindfulness.
I was just going to ask you how you were making that happen, sister. So you're not medication, but mindfulness.
I think for all of us, what is really very, very important is that we have ways where we self-regulate how we're feeling in our behaviors. Because even as, supposedly functioning adults in the world, that people see everybody as being able to be successful and centered. I think everybody needs a way to focus their attention in the present moment.
So how did you start implementing that?
It's always been something that I thought was extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
I started with my counseling staff, and we talked a lot about trauma in childhood. We talked about different ways in which students could learn to be more mindful about what it is that they're doing. One of the things we did many years ago was to start students in their phys ed class practice Qi Gong, which is a movement meditation.
What were they doing in movement?
They actually practice, it's very much like Tai Chi,
Mm-hmm.
but Qi Gong, Qi is your energy and Gong is practice. And the Qi Gong helps kids focus on the movements of their body that were done in a very purposeful manner so that they could then think not about, making a basket or scoring in baseball or basketball, but just focusing on themselves and their bodies.
And that started changing things around school?
It really did. We started noticing that when children participated in their phys ed class and they participated in Qigong practice, for the period after, they were much calmer than they were when they first entered the gymnasium.
That does make sense, too, to have a focused movement pattern for kids, because sitting in a chair all day is hard for grown folk.
Yes, absolutely. And there are quite a bit of studies that show how Qigong really helps students who have issues such as attention deficit disorder or other non-focusing issues. It really helps them focus on themselves and be more purposefully focusing on what it is they're supposed to be doing.
Did you see test scores go up? Do y'all have tests at this school? Do you give out?
We do. Yes, we have quite a number of students who do testing, and our exam grades go up usually every year. And we have to look at it with a fine magnifying glass because it's not like general ed kids who have scores through the roofs. We find even if our kids have made a small amount of achievement from one year to another, we feel that they're working in the right direction.
Well, yeah, their scales are different, I would think.
Yes.
Yes. No judgments. It's not like it's worse. It's just a different system of...
Well, because one of the issues, unfortunately, and I only know about New York State. I don't know about other states. But let's say a kid is classified as special needs. Okay. And they're, by their birth date, let's say they're supposed to be fifth graders. But because of their issues, whether it be, diagnosable mental illness or traumas that they've experienced, they very often function on a lower grade level. So if I'm functioning on a third grade level, I'm still mandated by the state to take the fifth grade exam as a fifth grader. So those kids already have a disadvantage.
Yeah, that seems like setting somebody up for failure.
Absolutely.
Is there any chance of that getting rectified and not happening in the future, do you think?
We've tried for many years, and I think the whole state did, in terms of how difficult that is for a child who already may have an issue with self-esteem. Say, I'm a fifth grader, but I could only read on a third grade level, but I have to take a fifth grade exam. It already puts them at a disadvantage, and then you have a lot of children who feel defeated. But because of our programs of trying to empower students to feel good about themselves, as I stated earlier, we have seen test scores go up.
Well, that's wonderful that you can get those scores up against such significant bad odds. You know,
Yes.
that's just that's very counterintuitive to me, but sometimes dealing with the government is what it is. How did you find Tuberon? How did that come about?
Wow. Okay. Well, I have to say, probably about 8 years ago,
Uh-huh.
I was experiencing pain in my back and my leg, and the next morning woke up and I couldn't walk.
Ooh.
And my wife made a phone call to a friend of ours who's an acupuncturist,
Mm-hmm.
and she was busy and said, I will call another friend of mine. And I thought, oh, right, on a Sunday morning, no one's going to call me. But sure enough, someone did, and it was the acupuncturist from Tuberon Holistic Health. Come right in. We went over there, and it's now 8 years later, and not only is she still treating me, but has also pushed me in the direction of studying and learning about mindfulness and meditation and Qi Gong. And more than 5 years ago, I went to become certified to become something called an acupuncture detoxification specialist.
Ooh, I like that. That sounds really cool. Like, are you hungover? I have needles.
There we go.
What
And
is
it would work.
what is detoxification specialist? That's kind of a cool title.
Well, it's really very interesting. I don't know the exact year, but there was a psychiatrist who was also an acupuncturist who worked up at Lincoln Hospital, who studied, of course, acupuncture and what was going on in China, and brought over a procedure that he then worked on and tweaked, working with substance abusers up in Lincoln Hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and something called the National Acupuncture Detoxification Association was born, because it was originally created and used for people with substance abuse. What they found, which is really quite astounding, is in their data that all of the participants then had relief of stress and anxiety. They were more balanced. It built their immunity, their immune system. So they felt it did many other things other than substance abuse.
Wow, so it's like a cleanser?
Yes.
I mean, not like a royal flush or like some sort of invasive cleanse, but it just pushes out the toxins, somehow releasing
Well,
it through pressure.
Well, it doesn't really push out the toxins, but what it does do, it balances out your body, meaning your emotions, your well-being, your stress level, your anxiety. It really helps curb cravings. So it really not only works on, drugs or alcohol, but it also works on people who want to eat too much, or if you're really anxious, you do that nervous eating,
Oh, a lot of people do
it,
that. Yeah. Yeah.
it helps with that, and it also helps with boosting your immune system. So most of the time, participants walk away feeling rejuvenated, they feel happier, they don't feel as anxious, and very often they don't feel as depressed.
So how does this relate to regular acupuncture? Is it the specialty of going after certain areas where maybe we hold different toxins? Are there toxin areas in our systems?
Well, sometimes toxins could build up. Very often with full body acupuncture, an acupuncturist who studies for a minimum of 3 years learns all the points of the body. How many of those there are, I can't remember at the moment. But with the ear acupuncture, which is called the NADA protocol, which is National Acupuncture Detoxification Association protocol, and that's 5 needles in each ear.
Wow.
And each of those 5 needles do all the things that I discussed: relieve stress, anxiety, depression, balance your system, and just give you an overall positive feeling.
Well, it sounds like it would work a lot better than rehab.
Yes, I absolutely think so also, and I think with the opiate crisis going on and the heroin crisis, we probably need more acupuncture than some of the harsh drugs that they give people.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Well, who's the acupuncturist who turned you on to this new part of your life?
The acupuncturist who is the founder and director of Tuberon Holistic Health Initiative in Long Beach, New York, is Irvi Sulit.
Shout out, Irvi.
Yes, absolutely. She touches the lives of many in such a wonderful, positive, meaningful way.
What are some of the energy healing benefits of acupuncture? Would it be the
Oh,
balancing?
there are so many.
Yeah.
You know, we all know that once somebody takes your stress or anxiety away or your depression, you feel more energetic, you want to go out and you want to walk or exercise or be with other people. And we know how positive of an effect that has on somebody. When they have friends who want to be with them, it really just turns your life around.
Mm-hmm.
And acupuncture helps that happen by the acupuncturist working on specific areas of the body. And I'm not a licensed acupuncturist, so I'm probably not going to give the greatest explanation. But besides working on specific areas, it also does balance that body so that you more or less have an engine that works much better, which is your body.
Right. So it's just like a tune-up, but with needles?
Absolutely.
Wow. So are you digging it? Are you like loving that you found this new medical system that drew you to practice?
Yes, I really feel it has changed my life personally in a very positive way. And I was able to take all of those tools that I learned back to my school and introduce it to people who also bought into the system. And I feel that we've really helped kids learn to focus their attention on the present moment, whether it be math or English or even just walking down the hall. And all of holistic health of mindfulness and meditation, acupuncture, Qi Gong really not only helps society, but with the exception of acupuncture, which obviously I can't do at work,
Right.
But everything else has, I feel, brought kids to a better point in their lives.
A lot of these programs would be pretty inexpensive to implement, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would. And I think it's a lot cheaper than parents spending money on pharmaceutical drugs. I think these programs also give the students an opportunity to take what it is that they've learned and take it home with them. I have just a little anecdote. I had a parent who came up to open school night and said to me, I want you to know my son, who really was a great problem, now says to him, Mom, stop yelling. Take a minute and breathe.
I love that. Little smart ass, but whatever works, right?
But you know what? How great it was that he was able to take home a tool that he acquired and then was able to share it with his mother.
And I'm sure she needed a reminder because being around difficult children is very difficult.
And I can't imagine living with them.
Right.
So I give her great credit. And I did say to her, well, did you? And she said, well, first I wanted to kill him.
Right.
And then I thought, okay, let me step back and try this. She said, and now they do it together.
That's
they
beautiful.
Remind each other.
That's beautiful. That's really something. Thank you for all that you've done to help students and parents and communities. And thank you so much for sharing this wisdom with me and my listeners.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you for inviting me to talk with you today.
I think you're darling. I wish you the best with your new section of your book.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks so much, Johanna Schneider. What a cool woman. I really love her. And if you're in Long Island or going to be around Long Island, please do drop by Tuberon Holistic Health Initiative. You can find them on Facebook to find out more about what they're doing. That's Tuberon Holistic, Tuburan, holistic spelled WHOLISTIC. You can figure out how to spell health initiative, I'm sure. Please do join me at lisalandry.com. If you sign up for my newsletter, you will get a free audio recording of my stand-up comedy, not suitable for work. Also, on YouTube, if you join me there and subscribe to my channel, You will know when each new podcast drops every WOMENACE Wednesday. LisaLandry.com. Shout out, Ari. I know it's super important to breathe, but baby, you take my breath away.